Hello, hello, hello. I hope that all is well. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I want to welcome you to Heal With Me. Heal With Me is our weekly live support group where individuals like you and myself, strong career professionals, business professionals, those of us who are out there making moves in the world, making moves in our family, moves in our career, moves in our business, but we also know we need support, right? Everyone comes to us when they need help. Everyone comes to us when they need advice or guidance or some type of support, but where do we go, right? Who do we connect with and who do we interact with? This is what Heal With Me is all about. Heal With Me is all about us coming together, confronting our issues, dealing with our frustrations, our traumas, the things in our lives that have really frustrated us, angered us, left us feeling neglected or abandoned. We also talk about how we learn how to embrace joy, embrace pain, embrace excitement and peace and all of those good things, how we open our heart, how we build a closer relationship with Christ, how we answer the call of God on our lives. This is what Heal With Me is all about. And I'm so thankful that you are here. I'm so thankful that you decided to spend this time with me, whether you're here now or you're on the replay. I just want to tell you, thank you so much for being here. Excuse me. So tonight, I'm really excited about our call tonight because tonight we're going to be, I have a topic that I want to discuss, but it really ties into a question that I received this week. So I wanted to address the question and I want to talk about it a little bit because one, I'm really excited about getting feedback from you guys, hearing what you want to hear about, hearing how you're processing our times together, our group times. Remember, all of our recordings are on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you are on the Heart Connections channel. Make sure you like it, the videos. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Please share the information with everyone you know so that even if you miss a call, even if you miss a group time with us, just remember that we're here together and you can always catch the replay on our YouTube channel. You can go to the website, theheartconnections.com, and click the YouTube button there, and it'll take you directly to our YouTube channel and Heart Connections TV. So, like I said, tonight we're going to be having some discussion, and remember the chat is open. If you're on Zoom or if you're on YouTube, I will make sure to be checking in to see what comments are being made or if there are any questions that are being asked. And so, like I said, we're going to move forward. I'm just so excited about tonight. I've just been really excited about these sessions because they've been so encouraging, not just for myself, but for others. And I'm just really thankful for what God is doing in our lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read a little bit. The topic for tonight is expressing myself even worth it? Is expressing myself even worth it? That's the question that we're asking tonight. If I honestly express myself, is it even worth it? Right? I want you to think about that as we go through the call. I'm going to read a little bit of the question that I got, and I want to talk about it because this is something that I've worked with quite a few of my clients on. And one of the things, if you have not worked with me or just heard my message, one of the things that I'm focused on is authentic transformation, right? And one of the ways that I achieve that is going through the divine heart transplant, which is the 6-step process that I use to transform my life. These were steps that were divinely given to me. And so therefore, I use these 6 steps as well when I'm working with my clients. And one of the things as I work through these steps, I realize this is a topic that often comes up as we go through the process, especially when we're getting to around steps 3 and 4, when we're getting to like acceptance and forgiveness. And if you have gone through the process, then you're aware of these steps. And if you have not, then I encourage you to get the books, go to the website, get the books, sign up for the upcoming course that's launching September the 1st, the Heartcubator, From Stuck to Unstoppable. There, I'll talk more about that later on tonight as we go through our group time. But I'm sharing this because these are topics that what we're dealing with tonight, these are topics that are very common. These are things that many of us are going through, we are dealing with, especially those of us who are committed to healing and committed to change, right? When you don't care and you just out here just living your life, just doing whatever, you really don't care how people are responding to you. You don't care how you're coming across to others. You're very selfish and self-centered, right? But when you really want to live a life, the life that God created you to live, you understand that you were created to live amongst others. You were created to be a light. Like, think about what a light does to a dark room. That's what you do in the environments and the atmospheres that you may find yourself in, whether you feel like you do or not. So I just want to encourage you to get connected, whether it's with me or whomever, but you really want to make sure that, like tonight's topic and other topics, that you are consistently addressing these things as you are going through your daily life, because the truth of the matter is, where we're going right now and what's happening in the world, it is because not enough people are answering the call of God on their lives. There are not enough people following that path that God created them to follow. So what happens is we miss out on various things, right? And a lot of people don't see that when you decide to heal, when you decide to start to confront the pains, the insecurities, the doubts, the worry, the shame, the guilt, the missed opportunities, when you start to face that, then indirectly and directly, what happens is you find yourself more capable and more able to actually pursue and live the life that God created you to live, right? 10 years ago, I would never believe that I would be where I am right now and what I'm doing, and especially the things that I'm planning on doing and embarking upon, right? So what I have learned, and it's something that I want to share with you even tonight, because I had a revelation this week that I wanted to share with y'all, is that your healing is directly connected to your success and how much you can enjoy your success. Your healing is directly related to your quality of life. And when I talk about healing, I'm talking about mental, spiritual, and emotional health and wellness, right? I'm talking about your emotions being intact. I'm talking about your spiritual fortitude being where it needs to be. I'm talking about your mind and your soul all being healthy and working in one accord. And in order for that to happen, is you have to make sure that you're confronting the issues that may be causing blockages and causing damage. So let me get into it, because I can just go on and on and on when we start talking about just the whole idea of healing. But so I'm going to read a little bit of what was asked, and I'm not going to share any names or anything, so that, you know, we just keep everything private. But I thought that this was very profound, and I just wanted to share this with you. Okay. All right. So another thing I'm on right now is how to say if when someone or something has hurt me, but I won't get the apology that I think I'm looking for to heal or have closure. So it makes me, and I'm paraphrasing, but so the question is, if someone has hurt me and I know that I will not get an apology from them, does it even make sense to express to them that they've hurt me in the first place, right? Does it even make sense to be honest and share with them how I felt if I know that they're not going to, in turn, give me an apology, or they're not going to give me maybe the response that I'm expecting? So before I get into what my answer is, I want to just say that I know this feeling all too well. One of the things, one of the reasons why I can be the heart coach, one of the reasons why I can actually be here sharing with you tonight, having this conversation with you, is because I have had to confront this question, and I've had to wrestle with this question, and I've had to answer this question. And what I know is that when you are healing, when what I call the divine heart transplant process, when you commit to going through this process of healing, you don't have to be going through the DHT, but whatever your healing process looks like, when you're going through it, you're going to go through these moments of awareness, and then you're going to go through these moments of wanting to protect yourself, right? And one of the things that I know is that when you go through your life and you have had heartache and disappointment and rejection and abandonment and maybe abuse of all different types. Maybe you were someone who you didn't receive, maybe you were neglected emotionally. People may have been there for you. People may have been there to support you, but maybe you didn't have that emotional connection. Maybe nobody was there to hug and kiss you and tell you were doing a great job. So maybe you long for that. Maybe you find yourself people pleasing or wanting to connect with certain crowds or people with certain personalities because it made you feel safe or it made you feel more comfortable. We all have different defense mechanisms that we have come up with over the years to deal with the experiences that we have gone through in our lives. So when it's time for us to start the healing process, one of the things we have to understand is these defense mechanisms often look like a part of our personality and our makeup and the being of the genetic makeup of who we are. So what happens is we start to think that our intellect, because for many of us, the intellect is a defense mechanism. You try to be smart enough to protect yourself. For some people, it is your ability to work hard. For some people, your defense mechanism is your attitude. For some people, your defense mechanism is trying to overcompensate, or whatever the case may be. Your defense mechanism could be getting defensive, avoiding confrontation. We all have different defense mechanisms. Some of us, our defense mechanism is holding a grudge, right? So when we think about, is expressing myself even worth it? What you want to know is that when you go through the healing process, the Bible tells us that we overcome him, talking about the enemy, talking about Satan, talking about overcome any obstacle that you pretty much will go through in your life by the blood of the Lamb and the words of your testimony, right? And so what I have found is that what we often do is when we are going through a process of healing, or when we're being faced with a choice, whether I can continue to live my life the way I've been living it, or do something different so that I can live a different way. Many people choose the former, right? They want to continue living their life the way they've been living it because the thought of change, the thought of having to do something different is too scary. Because what I have found is that a lot of people are so afraid of rejection again, are so afraid of disappointment again, are so afraid of failure again, that they're afraid to try. And for some people, when we hear this type of talk, often we're thinking about career or certain goals, being goal oriented, pursuing whatever your dreams and your passions are. But what I'm talking about tonight is even more so thinking about this in regards to the relationships that you have, or the relationships that you had. I have been working on the Heartcubator, because the Heartcubator is a self-paced course that is designed, it's really an experience that is designed to take you from stuck to unstoppable. And as I was working on the course and just editing the videos and just making sure everything is right for everyone who's signing up, one of the things that I was really encouraged by is just really like going over the steps and really breaking it down. And so tonight we're talking about, is expressing myself worth it? It really ties into step 3 and 4 when we talk about acceptance and then forgiveness, right? So if you're not familiar, the 6 steps in my process, the divine heart transplant process, are connection, awareness, acceptance, forgiveness, decision, and take action. It's 6 steps in the process. And it's a divine heart transplant process. And if you've ever read the book, Help Save Me from My Broken Heart, Your Journey to Living and Loving Again, then you've kind of gone through the process and I've explained it to you. So in the Heartcubator, it's a self-paced course as you go through the steps, but I'll be guiding you weekly in our private community where we'll be working through the steps and helping you work through some of these issues and snags and kinks in your life so that we can get some things smoothed out that need to be smoothed out. So when we talk about, is expressing myself really worth it, that for me really makes me think about step 3 and step 4, which is acceptance and forgiveness. And one of the things about the healing process is, before you can heal, in my opinion and in my experience, you have to be connected. That's my first step. And connection for me is knowing Christ, right? You have to have that spiritual fortitude and foundation so that you can, one, build, but so that you can also rebuild the areas that have been torn down or broken or may have never been built up in the first place. Right? So the second thing, what connection brings about, is awareness. And awareness is just recognizing and starting to pay more attention and being more sensitive to yourself and your surroundings, how you interact with others, how you interact with yourself, the self-talk that you say to yourself, the habits that you have, some of the behaviors that you have. And one of the things that awareness did for me was it opened my eyes to so many things in my life that I wasn't cognizant of, I wasn't clear about, I wasn't aware. I didn't know how bad of an attitude I had with my husband and my children. I didn't know how I was using my insecurities as excuse to have a bad attitude, as an excuse to have high expectations of others, because I wanted them to kind of fill my voids. And when I started to become more aware, I started to be more clear about these things. And so when we get to step 3, which is acceptance, acceptance is, now that you've become aware, you have to start to acknowledge that the things that you're aware of are true. Yes, you do have a bad attitude, and that bad attitude has probably caused you to maybe lose a job or lose some friends, or yes, you do have an issue. For me personally, I had to accept the fact that, I was struggling in my marriage. I was really frustrated and irritated with my husband. I just felt like, why can't he get it together? Why can't he do this or do that? But what I didn't realize was, what I wasn't clear on was the fact that I had insecurities and because of those insecurities, I had put expectations on my husband that weren't fair for him. But because I put those expectations on him, I didn't have to be accountable for the areas I needed to work on, for my shortcomings. Right? And so that's what acceptance does. Acceptance puts you in a position to where you start to really tell yourself the truth and embrace that truth. And so tonight is expressing my self-worth. And this is in the context of, is expressing my self-worth when this person is a family member, clearly a loved one, but this person has hurt me. And what I'm hearing is, I've had experiences with this person So I know how this person may interact, or I know what my expectations of how this person may respond to me. So should I even tell them how I really feel? And the answer is yes, you absolutely should. Because one of the things I've found with acceptance, it brings about forgiveness. And one of the things we have to do when we forgive, a lot of times we direct forgiveness on others, but a lot of times we have to forgive God and we have to forgive ourselves because, excuse me, we're angry at ourselves a lot of times for not doing whatever we felt we should have done, not being wherever we felt we should have been, not being the person or showing up in the way that we thought we should have, right? So a lot of times we're really hard on ourselves. So forgiveness is very important. But when you think about honestly, my biggest focus is authentic transformation, constantly changing authentically so that God can constantly use me. And one of the things I know is I can't be authentic if I can't honestly express how I feel. And see, a lot of us have put a muzzle on our emotions because we learned at a young age that I can't honestly express how I feel. I can't honestly express my thoughts and actions. I know for me, when I was younger, I felt like I can't honestly express myself because that's going to make my loved ones angry. I felt like people would get upset with me when I told them how I really felt. So that's why I know all too well about that. How you doing? I'm okay. Everything good? I'm okay. Knowing good or well, I'm not okay. But that was the guise that I lived under because I didn't think that honestly and authentically expressing myself was worth it. But what we're really saying is, I don't want to really tell you how I really feel because it hurts too bad. And the deeper thing we need to deal with is the fact that we are hurting and we have to be honest about the fact that we are hurting. We can no longer try to cover up the pain, try to act like I'm okay. I got it all together. See, what I did was I was hurting. So I covered up my pain, or I tried to cover up my pain. One, by when I was building my relationship with Christ, I tried to cover up my pain through my actions. I felt like God's love, just like many other people, the love was conditional. So yes, you will love me as long as I'm doing good and doing the right thing. But if I'm not doing good and not doing the right thing, you're not going to love me. That's what I thought. And those are thoughts that I still have to remind myself that I'm no longer under that anymore. But because I did that for so long, I still to this day have to remind myself that God's love is not conditional. My anointing is not conditional. I'm connected. There's nothing somebody else can do that can stop what God is doing in my life. But when you believe that love is conditional, I remember being little and thinking I wasn't good enough for love and thinking I wasn't good enough for to be really cared for and really nurtured, right? And so I didn't think that expressing myself was really worth it. That's why I only really express myself to very few people. And he just, maybe a few years ago when I started doing hard work, I realized that I really I would get close to people to a certain extent. I kept a guard up. And yes, the Bible tells us we have to guard our heart, but I found out that I would get close to people, but I wouldn't let them get but so close because I didn't trust them with me. Because I felt like the people that I did trust me with me would drop me. So I have to be very selective and very careful about who I want to trust. Right? So why expressing yourself is worth it? It does not matter what the other person does in forgiveness. And acceptance and forgiveness, it doesn't matter what's going on with the other person. This is all about you having a reckoning and awareness of yourself and your understanding. If you have a desire to express something, then that thing needs to be expressed. Now, you can pray about how you want to express it, but if there's a family member or a loved one that you want to say something to, that you want to express yourself to, you should do it. You should really do it, because the thing about it is you want to make sure that you are in a space that you're not holding yourself back from the blessings that God has for you. It's like a blockage. When I talk about the divine heart transplant process, one of the things that when you get an actual physical heart issue that's going on, or you have a physical blockage or breakage that's going on in your heart, right? There's usually a blockage, or there's usually a blockage, or there's usually an issue with the electrical currents in your heart. I talk about this in the book. If you haven't gotten the book, go to the website, theheartconnections.com, and you will be able to get the book, and it'll go in more detail. But one of the things about having this blockage in your heart, this blockage in your heart can come about from years of having stress. Now, I'm talking about your physical heart now, not your spiritual, emotional heart, but this blockage can come about from having years of stress, of putting, unwarranted stress on your heart. It might be from life experiences and things like that. It could be your diet. It could be lack of exercise. It could be other traumas that your body has gone through. But when you have this blockage, you have to do something to get it out of the way, because if not, it can cause your heart to stop. So when you start thinking about, should you express yourself? You should always express yourself. You cannot control how other people respond to you. All you can do is control how you are responding to other people. Now, some people will say, well, it's just not worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And I'll tell you, it's so worth it that when you talk about expressing yourself to someone, it is very important that you understand that that person that you're expressing yourself to doesn't even have to be in this dimension. This person could have passed away, transitioned, gone on to wherever they are, heaven or hell. I don't have a place to put them in, but wherever they are. But if you still have something you need to express, you need to express it. Because what you do when you express it is you make room for a flow to take place in your life. See, a lot of you are praying and believing God, or just thinking like, hey, I want to do good in my life. Like, I want my career to grow. I want my finances to be here. I want my health to be in this space. I want to be in this space with my family and with my friends. I want to be able to travel, or I want to be able to, whatever the things are that you want to do. But you don't realize that honestly expressing yourself, being authentic in your communication, has everything to do with you being who God called you to be, and has everything to do with you answering the call, with your finances showing up. See, a lot of people can't get their finances under control because their hearts are broken. And their hearts are broken, and that brokenness is tied into what they believe about finances. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but this is something that I've been wanting to talk to y'all about. And I just want to bring this up because it just came to me. One of the things that you have to understand is that your experiences inform your beliefs. Your beliefs inform your behaviors. Your behaviors inform your outcomes, right? So whatever you've experienced is going to impact what you believe about yourself and the world around you. What you believe about yourself and the world around you is going to impact how you show up in the world. The things that you do. If you don't think that you're good enough to be successful, then you're not going to take steps towards success. If you don't believe that you're worthy of being loved or loved properly, then you're not going to do things or put yourself in position for proper love. So your belief inform your behavior, and your behaviors inform your outcome. So the things that you choose to do are in direct correlation with the quality of life that you're living. Those are my last two steps: decision and taking action in the divine heart transplant process. So when one of our group members, a member of our tribe, had shared with us, I'm wanting to express myself with this person, but I wonder if it's even worth it, because I know they're not going to apologize to me. I know they might not respond to me the way I'm looking for. One of the biggest things we're going to learn about healing is the healing is not about the other person. It's all for you. It's not about how they respond to you. It's the fact that you said it. It's the fact that you did it. It's the fact that you pulled yourself up out of that hole, so to speak, and put yourself in a better position. So is expressing yourself worth it? It's absolutely worth it. Because how you feel matters. Who you are matters. Your thoughts matters. Your feelings matter. I talk to a lot of people who are very cynical and pessimistic. And when I say things like, how you feel about that really matters, they'll say, what does it matter? That's not going to impact how much money I'm making. That's not going to impact this or that. Well, actually, it does. What you think about yourself and your situation, what you believe about your relationships, especially the relationships with your parents. It does not matter if you have never, ever, 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 ever met your mom or your dad. How you feel about that relationship, how you view those relationships impact how you show up in life. When you have loved ones that you care about, or you've grown up to love and to adore them. A part of my healing process was I had a aunt that passed away when I was 14 years old. And when I started the healing process, I was in my 30s when I really really went deep in and really started doing the hard work. And I had to express myself to my aunt. I had to express myself to my stepfather. And these were people that had already transitioned. I'm talking about passed away years before I found myself in that situation. But what happened was that the DHT, the divine heart transplant process, put me in a situation as I was working through those steps and working on my relationship with God. It would bring about a new awareness that would make me have to accept some things about myself, and then have to forgive myself and also forgive others. And I didn't realize how much my aunt had played a part in my experiences, the trauma that I had in believing that I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't pretty enough, and I wasn't maybe smart enough, or I just wasn't good enough. And she was one of those people that I always wanted to please, and I wanted her to at least validate me or affirm me. And she didn't do that a lot. So it made me doubt and question myself. Well, I doubted and questioned myself because I didn't know any better at the time. But once I have learned to grow, I have found that nobody can make me feel any way. There are choices that I make. I can choose to believe what someone else has to say about me, and I can also choose to not believe that. But in any way, it's all a choice on my behalf. So when I choose to express myself, I cannot control the outcome. I cannot set in my mind, this is what I should expect from the other person. All I can do is express myself, and then they respond how they respond. Now, let's go back to why we need them to respond that way. Why is it that if I don't get an apology, then I shouldn't even express myself? I used to feel that way. That's how I was with my father. That's how I was with many other loved ones in my life. I felt that way in my marriage. If I don't get an apology from you, why should I tell you how I really feel? I should tell you how I really feel because that's how I really feel. And I need to express it. And I matter. And my feelings are worth it. And we have grown up in a culture, especially Black and brown people, like we have really grown up in this culture that we are told like nobody cares about your feelings. You got to do what it takes. You got to do what it takes to survive. You got to do what it takes to win. You got to do what it takes to get to the other side. But nobody cares about your feelings. But God cares. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 through 30, he tells us, "Come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you." Jesus is telling us, like, I know that what you're carrying is heavy. So give it to me and take on what I have given to you. You need to express yourself, but you also need to deal with the pain that's under whatever it is that you need to express. You need to honestly and authentically deal with that pain. You need to stop saying it doesn't matter and you okay and you're over it when you know you're not. I know that was me. This Father's Day that just passed, I've written books about it. I've talked about it, done speeches about it, coached people on it. This Father's Day 22, I called my dad. I'm so thankful I can still call my dad. I called my dad and wished him a happy Father's Day. And when I got off the phone, I just couldn't stop crying. And I cried. At the time, I didn't even have words to express how I felt. But when I think about it now, I cried because I've finally allowed myself, and I've stayed so committed to the process and trusting the process and working these steps that when I called him and told him Happy Father's Day, I had no expectation of him at all. I didn't need him to say anything to me. I didn't need him to affirm me in any way. I didn't need him. And every other time, it might have been some little teeny tiny eensy weensy teeny tiny little piece that might have needed something, but I didn't. Why? Because I have allowed the love of God to come in and heal my heart so much that I don't have to have expectation of my Father of things that he cannot and was never able to give me, but God can, and God always did. But like Patti LaBelle said, I've been looking around, but you've been here all the time. So yes, we need to express ourselves. If you can physically express yourself, do it, but not in a way that is combative, but definitely in a way that's authentic and vulnerable. We like to avoid being vulnerable. We don't want to confront the pain. We don't want to confront it. I was just journaling just the other day in this book, and I just was journaling and I was just crying because I was writing, I was confronting it. I wasn't running from it because I understand that though I may reap in sorrow, though I may sow in sorrow, I will reap in joy. I will reap in gladness. I will reap in fulfillment. So I don't know, you might be in a situation where you're working on this process and you know there are certain people, certain circumstances in your life that you might need to work on, certain circumstances in your life that you might need to confront. There might be certain people you need to have conversations with. I also had a very dear loved one that I wanted to confront. I wanted to express myself. But when I prayed about it and asked God to give me the words to speak and the right opportunity to do it, the Lord never gave that to me. Because he said, this is not about you expressing yourself to that person, because I would have still been people pleasing. In that particular case, it was about me trusting God and the decision that I know that he told me that I had to make and the things that I had to do. And I had to trust that he was going to work the situation out. And he has. But if I hadn't honestly expressed myself to God, I wouldn't have gotten the divine instructions to now be able to express myself, because he allowed that to happen. Now, for everybody, that might not happen like that. I've had many situations that, especially since I started doing heart work, where I felt like I need to have closure, right? I need to I need to have this conversation with this person. I need to let them know where I was. And, that's a good, I'm working on being better at communicating. That's just me, like right now. And even like with my dad, I used to feel like I need to have this talk with him. I've had talks with him, need to write him this letter. I've written him letters. And no, I'm not saying I can't keep doing it, but maybe the letter I need to keep writing is not to him. Maybe the letter I need to keep writing at this point is to myself. Maybe I'm making amends with other people, but right now I need to give myself room to heal. I need to give myself room to cry and moan and mourn the loss. Because one of the things that the heart incubator, this experience, I'm so excited about it, because one of the things that the heart incubator is going to help you do is realize that you are not even who you think you are. So sometimes when people respond to you the way they respond to you, it's not even really you. That's the person that you have fabricated and made yourself up to be, to deal with the experiences that you had in your life. And because of those experiences, now you believe this is the person that you have to be in order to survive or make it in this world. And because of those beliefs, now you have certain behaviors that you partake in. And all of us have our things. One of the biggest things that I have really embraced and grown in during this pandemic is knowing when I need to express myself audibly to someone else, or maybe that expression just needs to go within. Maybe it's not that I need to have a conversation with somebody else. Maybe I need to have a conversation with God and Adelai about what's going on with her. Maybe I need to journal and cry. Maybe I just need to lay on the floor and just cry and just let it out. Maybe I don't need to explain what those tears meant. Maybe they just need to fall. Maybe they just need to be released. But is expressing yourself worth it? Every time, no matter what anyone else has to say, no matter how anyone else responds to you, expressing yourself is always worth it. See, we live in a world where people tell you, forget them, go get your, go make your money, or go live your best life. But the thing about it is, we all know that we have those thoughts that are running on the inside of our mind and running on the inside of our heart, those beliefs that we have, that I don't care how much you laugh and joke and you go out with your friends and you do things, when you get in that quiet, still place, you hear those voices telling you this and that about yourself. And if you don't work on your heart, then what happens is those voices will overtake you and inform your belief systems, that inform your behavior. That's why so many of us have embraced so much self-sabotaging behavior. And that's why for me, these last 2 years over the pandemic, I have had to learn, because I was so scared. I didn't know what to expect with this pandemic and so many of my loved ones passing away and so many things going on. I was terrified. But one of the things that I knew, one of the things that I was very clear about, was that I had to stop worrying so much about what everybody else had to say, and I had to focus on what God had to say, because guess what? Nobody else knew what was going on with COVID. But God, the doctors didn't know. Every expert did not know. And that was a wake-up call for me, how I can idolize the opinions of man and without really seeking God. And God started dealing with me on who's more important. Is their opinion more important than mine? And I had to really think about that. So, I've had some awkward moments when I've expressed myself to people. I mean, I have had times when I have opened up and expressed myself to my husband, to my children, to my parents, and I didn't get the response that maybe I thought I wanted. In some cases, I didn't even get responses. And I'm talking pouring my heart out. And yes, at first it felt awkward and it felt weird and it felt like, oh my gosh. But then I thought about it. It just felt better getting it out. So I hope that that helps. But I think that's such an important topic. So many people, I'm not apologizing to them until they apologize to me. I'm not going to tell them sorry until they tell me sorry. Why? If you know you did something that you should apologize for, apologize. You cannot control anybody else but yourself, but you will tell the truth and shame the devil. You set yourself free, and they will know the truth, and the truth shall set them free. That's what God is wanting to do for you right now. That's what God is wanting to do in your life right now. Set you free. How are you going to get that done? By expressing yourself authentically, making yourself vulnerable. So this is very good. I'm really excited about it. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Anyone want to share? You can type it in the chat. I'll also check us out on YouTube. If you don't want to watch us on Zoom, remember we're live on YouTube. You can go to our website, theheartconnections.com, and you can check us out there. Go to click the YouTube link and you can catch all of tonight's talk, our support group, as well as our previous groups. But is expressing yourself worth it? It's always worth it. Now, if you're like me, then I will say that you probably have an issue with expressing yourself, because expressing yourself seems a lot like confrontation. And confrontation is not something that you prefer to have. You see confrontation as something that's combative, or you see confrontation as something that's bad. And what I want to share with you and what I want to tell you is confrontation is something that is necessary. Expressing yourself is a form of confrontation. You are confronting how you really feel and choosing to share that with others in whatever mode you choose to share that in. But you want to make sure that you don't allow your fear of confrontation to cause you to stay silent, because that's what blocks your heart. Mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. People die from physical heart disease because they haven't dealt with the emotional and mental stresses that they're dealing with in their lives. And I don't want that to be you. We have to express ourselves. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you all as well, I want to share my screen really quick, because I've really been working over the years with many individuals. I've coached one-on-one and in group settings when we talk about the topic of expressing ourselves and is it important and does it matter. One of the things that I want to take the time to share with you all tonight is the heart cubator, from stuck to unstoppable. I talked about it as we've gone through our talk tonight, but I want to share with you why it's so important to me. The heart cubator is a self-paced course. It's an experience that will literally take you from stuck to unstoppable. On September the 1st, I will be celebrating 8 years of being the heart coach and doing heart talk. Well, actually, I've been heart coaching way longer than that, but 8 years ago, I feel like I answered the call and said, hey, I'm gonna be the heart coach. This is what I'm doing. And I started doing heart talk. And Heal With Me is just a progression of heart talk. Heart talk is what we do, right? This is what we're having together in this session of Heal With Me. Heart work is when we put this talk into action. That's what heart work is. And so the heart cubator is me bringing this work. I've worked with clients on one-on-one and in group sessions. I've done workshops. I've done events. I've done boot camps, you name it. I've done so many different teaching methods of wanting to bring the divine heart transplant process to those who are ready to heal. And so the heart cubator is my way of doing it with you in mind. I understand that we're living a busy life. I also understand that you have a budget that you have to adhere to. But when you go through the Heartcubator, you don't only get the divine heart transplant process, but you also get steps to launch your business or launch your movement or to publish your book. And it's something that transforms your life. I'm completely focused on authentic transformation. That's what everything in Heart Connections and Addie BB is all about. And the Heartcubator is focused on those things, right? And it's three spiritual foundations. These three foundations that not only is this course built on, but it's everything that I do. Is spiritual fortitude, is emotional and mental wellness, and it's personal and professional development. See, you want to know maybe why you didn't get that promotion or why you didn't get that lead role. Maybe you want to know why you're not able to get your idea off the ground, or you feel like you're just blending in with everybody else and you're not standing out. It's not that something is wrong with you. There's some areas in your life that are stuck, and it's time for you to get to unstoppable. And so the Heartcubator, the self-paced course, is you going through this nurturing process, right? It's an incubator for your heart. You're being nurtured so that you can get out there and live your life and truly enjoy it. I mean, we see rich people committing suicide every day. So we know that having a lot of money does not equate to joy and happiness and true wealth. What the Heartcubator does is it helps you work on those mental and emotional issues that you've been struggling with: insecurity, doubt, jealousy, frustration, abandonment, fear of rejection. It could be hate, anger, racism, all kinds of things that you're dealing with in your heart, right? And then you know that that's not right. But let's take it further. What you may not know is that if you don't deal with those things, then your life is going to be stuck. You're going to wonder, why am I trying so hard and I'm not getting any place? Because the world that we live in is not going to tell you you need to honestly and authentically express yourself and share your emotions and be honest about how you're feeling so that your business can thrive, so that your health can be at optimum level, so that your relationships can be fulfilling and enjoyable. It's not going to come from you armoring up and covering up. It's going to come from you being vulnerable and putting yourself out there, authentically transforming all the time. And I want to help you do that. So it's a self-paced course that you can sign up for. But the beauty of it is you get to work with me every week. We do live heart coaching and Q&A. So as you work through your modules, you can ask me questions and get insight, and not just from me, but from others who are going through the program with you. It's definitely something that if you've been like, I want to publish this book, or I really want to get this business, I want to build my business, or I want to grow my business, or I want to launch this movement. I know that I can impact my community. I can impact my group, my people, my tribe, but I just don't quite know how to do that. I can help you do that. I've done that, still doing that, and helping others do it. So the Heartcubator is something I really want you to consider. The cost is $997. But from now until September the 1st, it's only $497. Only $497. And I did that because I'm excited about putting this out there. I'm excited about making sure that those that want to get in the Heartcubator can do it. I'm celebrating 8 years. 8 is the number of new beginnings. I know that the Heartcubator is going to be new beginnings for all of those who sign up for it. And I'm so excited for our times together, when we get together in our private space and we get to work through everything that's coming up for you, and we get to see your plans start to actually come to fruition. It's a beautiful thing. But what many people don't tell you, they'll tell you 5 steps to success and 10 steps to get you $1 million. But the things that they won't tell you is the things that aren't glamorous, the behind the scene things, the hard work that has to be done that many people still haven't done. And that's why they're not living lives to the fullest potential. So I'm excited about it. If you want to know more about the Heart Incubator, make sure you go to the website, theheartconnections.com. You can get information from there. You can find out about signing up for the Heart Incubator. You can find out about the payment plan. If you're not able to pay $9.97 straight up, you can pay in a payment plan. I want to make sure that you go from stuck to unstoppable. You do not have to wait for 2023 for you to really jumpstart what needs to happen in your life. It can happen right now, and it needs to happen right now. And that's why the Heart Incubator is the perfect course for you to jumpstart your life. I'm just so excited to have y'all here. I'm so excited to be launching this course. I'm so excited to be doing heart work with you. Do we have any comments? Do we have any questions? I'm checking in on YouTube as well as on our Zoom page, just trying to make sure we don't have anyone that's sharing any comments or questions. I'm so thankful. Remember, expressing yourself is always worth it. And I know that if you are struggling with expressing yourself, the Heart Connections, the Heart Incubator is the place for you. I put the link in the chat. I'll make sure I put the link in the comments and on our YouTube page as well. But if you're struggling with, should I express myself or how should I express myself? If you are tired of putting the filter on your life, and if you've even thought about, hey, I want to work with Adelai. I feel like I like what I like, you like what I'm talking about, and you like my approach to life. This is how you could work with me. This is how I'm working with my clients. I understand the power of this Heart Incubator. I understand the power of this divine heart transplant process. And I really want us to heal and grow together. I have been that person who avoided the confrontation, but I've also been the one to start it. I'm thankful that God is working on me in a place where I can know how to balance it out. And I know when maybe sometimes I think I need to confront that person, but really I just need to get on my knees and pray. I might need to just let out some tears. But whatever it is, you need to express yourself. That's the truth. Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't heal your heart, you won't transform your life. And like I was talking on the about earlier in our session, when you have a physical blockage in your heart, it can cause your heart to stop. When you have a blockage in your emotional heart, it can cause your heart to stop. You have to be very careful about putting yourself and your emotions and your feelings on the back burner. Because if you do, what can happen is your fire can end up going out. The blockage can end up stopping the flow. And when the flow stops, then that's it. So many of us are walking around like the Walking Dead. And now it's time for us to open up, to wake up, and to live our lives at the level that we were created to do that. Let's go from stuck to unstoppable, right? Let's do it. It's time. So I'm so thankful that you all took the time to be here with us. Remember, every Monday night at 8 p.m., we are here, Heart Connections TV. Go to the website, theheartconnections.com. Click the YouTube icon. You can come straight to our channel and catch us live. You can also catch us live on Zoom. Wherever you are, just make sure you are here. Share this with your friends, your family, your husbands, your wives, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your co-workers. Invite everyone on, especially those that you know need encouragement, those that you know may be feeling misunderstood or maybe feeling confused. Just invite them on so that we can love and support one another. I'm so thankful that you all took the time to be here. Remember, I am Adelai Brown, your heart coach. Always remember, if you heal your heart, you will transform your life. I love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And remember, go to the website, theheartconnections.com, to find out more about the Heartcubator and all the other ways that we can support you. Love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.